Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmie from Emmie Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So right now I'm going to be doing a ClairTarot reading for the collective energy. Yeah, I asked our higher selves what this reading is going to be about. And it's time to clean up the energetic mess. It's time to clean up. We playing cleanup crew for our own energy mess. So yesterday got ugly. The energy yesterday got ugly, real quick for so many people. And I think today is just a day to kind of undo all the stuff. I don't know why I'm having a hard time shuffling today. I don't know what it is. All right. So let's start pulling some cards. Oh, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. Oh, what am I supposed to? Mm-hmm. Sorry. I heard my child meowing. He's asleep. So I just had to go check if he was okay. You know, just randomly meowing in his sleep. So let's go ahead. Ooh, victory. You're feeling very ambivalent, waiting for the other shoe to drop kind of feeling. That's definitely a feeling. That's definitely a feeling. I have this feeling in me right now of like day one of fasting. I'm not fasting, but all my attitude issue yesterday used my glycogen stores. I stressed myself out yesterday. I stressed myself out so hard yesterday for really no reason. If I'm going to be really honest, I didn't need to be that stressed out. I still didn't get my way. I didn't. And then I had to just quietly retreat into my own mind. Be like, girl, why you? Sometimes you just got to ask yourself that. Like, why are you getting so triggered? Yeah. I typically don't yell at workers on the phone. I typically don't. I was yelling yesterday. I was sitting right here yelling on speakerphone. My husband was sitting across. We have a huge farm table, and he was sitting kitty corner from me, and he was just like, and I'm like, what? Yeah, it's pretty impressive. It was pretty impressive how insane I got. 0 to 5,000 in 2 seconds. I was just like, I was like this. I was screaming at my phone. Why do you need that? And he was just like, what are you doing? I'm on the phone. Okay, final card. So yesterday, seriously, everyone was having issues. Well, most people were having issues. If you weren't having issues yesterday, well, let me just clap for you. Okay? I haven't let yesterday go. It takes me a while. But no, I'm joking. It does take me a while, but I'm joking about slow clapping for you. I don't know why my fingers don't work. All right. Final deck. Love, you telling me I'm not being loving enough? All right, okay. So obviously I need to calm the hell down because peace came out twice. Okay. Okay. All right, that is one hell of a card. Okay. So card number 28, peace. It's time for us to consciously choose to go back to a state of peace. With that, you know, it's okay for you to allow yourself to have an organic reaction when someone pisses you off. And you're always in control. You're someone who always attempts to pause before you say anything so that you can think of the most appropriate, the best response. You know, you have to sometimes give yourself permission to kind of just snap. Once in a great while. You can do that. I mean, is it the best option? Obviously not. But you are human. You do deserve to have the opportunity to simply have a moment. Are you okay, baby? Okay. Hold on. Let me just move all of this. All of this stuff. So many of us right now, we're having some sort of internal revolution, okay? We are having periods where we're releasing the programming that we've been accustomed to participating in. And this tends to be the people who try to be very nice all the time, who try to do the right thing all the time, who try to be like some sort of spiritual rock for other people, or you know, just a rock for them, period. It's time for you to begin really just being who you are. Instead of having to consistently play this role of like, I have to be the evolved one. I have to be the one that that thinks about following the string first and making sure. Baby, are you okay? Thanks for ignoring me. I don't know if he's awake or not. But yeah, no, stop trying to play that role at this point. Just be who you are. If someone pisses you off, you can say something. You don't always have to keep quiet. You don't always have to start an internal war just to keep an external peace, okay? And it's not even external peace. It's illusion of peace. Because whether you say something or not, there's that tension that's going to be there. If someone is doing things to create a circumstance that makes people feel weird, makes people feel upset, you not saying anything is not keeping the peace. It's enabling the continuation of that yucky, okay? Seriously, because I used to be like that, where I won't say anything just because I just don't want anyone to argue. And then people will keep doing it. And now I'm like, why are you being an asshole? What's that all about? You okay? Because right now you're being an asshole. And I mean, granted, that's not, it's not exactly the best option. But now when I say something, especially when I say something like that, they're like, whoa, okay, well, sorry, I didn't realize. Oh, you didn't realize that you behave that way? Okay, let me tell you. I'm telling you right now, that's how you behave. That's how it's being received by your environment. So card number 22, Orenda, honor your mystical creative force. Okay, it's time for you to honor yourself. Now, this is a really, like, I don't know if my glasses are just foggy, but this looks really grotesque. Yeah. It looks really dark. It looks morbid. It's not a very enjoyable picture, but that's kind of how we see our own magic, isn't it? That's kind of how we see the truth of our power. We see us reclaiming our power, really just allowing ourselves to have the space to flex if we need to. We see it as something that's ugly. What's so ugly about it? What is so ugly about it? I look at this and it's like borderline ugly to me, this image. But when I really look at it, like, what's ugly about it? There's really not a single component that's ugly about this picture. It's my own filter. My filter that, my filter that was installed since childhood tells me an image like this goes against everything that is cookie cutter and okay for society. And so I have to see this as something that's ugly. And that kind of goes back to how we're programmed to see our personal power. We're programmed to see acknowledgement of our personal power and our worth as something that's ugly because your ego's out of control. You need to kill the ego. No, you don't need to kill anything. You don't. You don't need to kill anything. You don't need to contain anything. You just really need to exist in a more balanced way. And the only way to do that is to center yourself perfectly in between your light and your dark aspects. There's nothing evil about one and good about the other. They're just two halves of one totality. So is this an evil picture? No. Is this one that as a whole I can appreciate? Not really. Not really. But when I look at each component by itself, it's beautiful. Even to the way the blood pools in her hands, that's beautiful. The way her hair has become a serpent, that's beautiful. Look at the lines that it makes. Look at the way the shadow plays with the light, how one helps to emphasize and clarify the other, how the other helps to create texture and depth. I mean, things can be beautiful when you begin to allow yourself to fully see each component for what it is, instead of just looking at something as a whole and like, oh, well, that makes me uncomfortable, so I don't like it. Okay, well, you know what? Maybe that discomfort is pushing you beyond the edges of your comfort zone. And maybe that's what you need. Maybe that's what you need, because that comfort zone really acts as a barrier, a limitation. And if you can't ever get out of your comfort zone, how are you going to clean up the mess that surrounds you? 88% at 847. Card number 1, after the storm. So quite a few of us, as we go through this internal revolution, we're going to have to clean up after that storm, okay? This revolution is like a mother freaking typhoon, all right? And you're going to have to play cleanup crew of your own thoughts. This is a very destructive, internally destructive process, because all of that programming, 88% at 848. Thank you. All of that internal programming is being undone, okay, with a spiritual sledgehammer. So you're going to have to find that inner peace. You are going to have to choose to find that for yourself. This is something that you're not just, it's possible. Okay, it's possible to just one day realize, oh, everything is peaceful. It's possible. It's possible. But the likelihood of that happening is very slim. And I'll tell you why. It's very slim because most of us always look for the negative in any circumstance. We always look for the negative. We deal in the negative. Instead of speaking into being and seeking out the end result that we want, we're constantly living in a state of fear that the negative might be what we get. Well, guess what? If what you focus on is the negative is what you feed. Does that mean you ignore the negative? No, it means you acknowledge it and then you focus on the solution. Card number 7, nourishment. It's time for you to stop that type of existence where all you think about is how you're barely surviving. Okay, you already know the problem. You're barely surviving. Why don't you begin looking for solutions? Why don't you begin nourishing your own soul? So you're tired. You're tired. You're tired. Okay, you know you're tired. Figure out a way to add more sleep. Figure it out. And people, you know, not to knock anyone who does this, but if you're the kind of person who's like, I don't get enough sleep, but I have to stay up till 12 a.m. so that I can watch this show. Do you really need to watch that show? Did you really need to stay at work for an extra hour? Do you really think your boss notices that? You stay for an extra hour at work and you think that people are appreciating it, but are they really? Are they really? Are you getting paid overtime for staying over? Or are you trying to look good in the eyes of someone who doesn't even value you, who could easily replace you? So you're taking time from your own self-care. For what? You have things you need to do when you get home. But your friend who always has some kind of drama, who have maybe they have a dramatic relationship with their abusive significant other, okay? And you need to get stuff done, but now they have you on the phone for 3 hours crying about, you know, they cheated on me again. Well, they cheated on you last week, boo. What's so different this week? Because it's the same thing. It's the same thing. If they're not doing anything to correct their circumstance, why do you keep listening to it? Why do you keep taking time from your self-care to deal with that? Are you addicted to drama? And these are questions you have to ask yourself. Am I addicted to drama? Is it because I don't have, I've given so much of myself and my time to other people and I'm addicted to drama. So now in order to fulfill my addiction to drama, I allow myself to get sucked into other people's drama. But it's okay because I rationalize, well, my life is drama free. So I need to help, you know, so-and-so. I mean, these are very common things that people do. These are very, very common things that people do. So you have to begin reprioritizing yourself, okay? You just have to begin reprioritizing yourself. This is not about you being told not to help anyone. This is about you recognizing you deserve the kind of help and support and love that you so generously give to everyone else. You deserve to give that to yourself as well, okay? You deserve to give that to yourself as well. And these are things that pretty much all of us do, okay? Pretty much all of us do this. It's not just like a select few. Pretty much all of us do this type of thing. So time, what are you doing with your time? Are you using your time to create or to further perpetuate destruction, unnecessary destruction? Look at her face. She's so over this. That's the face my higher self makes half the time. She just looks at me like this, girl. I'm sick of your shit, girl. This is my higher self and this is me. Yes. So yeah, there. This is my higher self and this is me. She's just like at my shit and I'm just like, yes. Oblivious to everything. Card number 31, Solitude. Alone but not lonely. It's time for you to begin enjoying your own company. You have to recognize, you have to be very honest with yourself. Are you using other people to preoccupy you to the point that you don't have time to address your own issues, your own struggles, your own needs? Because oftentimes that's what empaths do. We look for other people to heal because those other people that we're attempting to heal reflect aspects of ourselves that need healing, but we're too afraid to do the healing. We're too afraid to heal ourselves. Okay, so you okay? I'm almost done. Are you even awake? Your bucket is beside you, okay? I don't know if he's awake. What do you feel? Card number 9. What do you feel? Recognize when you are comparing two different things. Recognize when you are being distracted. Okay. Sometimes the comparison of things is nothing more than a distraction, because when you're too busy comparing things, you're too busy focusing on what you need to focus on. This is my version of sign language. You have to focus on yourself. You truly do. You truly, truly do. Instead of focusing on how this person ain't living right, that person should have did this instead, that person needs to go blah, 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 blah. I know a lot of people that do that. You know, I know a lot of people that do that. It's a very common thing, and we just have to stop. We just have to stop. If you find yourself having commentary for other people's life circumstance on a regular basis, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, legit question. There was a individual last week who really went out of their way to make sure that I saw their commentary on how they believe that they think I fake being happy and blah, 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 even going so far as to go on my live. And when I call them out on it, they go and blurt out how they're living through domestic violence. Well, if you're having that kind of really horrible circumstance, which no one deserves, what are you doing focused on me? Why don't you focus on your circumstance? Why don't you focus on getting your life right for yourself? You know, and that's the thing. People who are having a really hard time in life, they have a tendency to externalize and look for ways to critique other people because they can't deal with the fact that their life is in shambles. You know what I mean? Their life is in shambles. And so instead of using that time and energy to correct the circumstance they're in, they go in and nitpick other. I know quite a few people like that. They do that to me often. People, and it's not you guys, like people in real life. People that have known me for a very long time. I know quite a few that do that. And I always, whenever I hear them doing that, really? So how's your life going? How's your life? What have you accomplished? And I'm not talking about certificates or professional accolade. Like, what have you accomplished for your life? What's made you happy? What's made you smile? Have you addressed your wounds? The ones that's causing you to bleed all over everyone else that had nothing to do with the infliction of that wound to begin with. Have you noticed that? You're bleeding out, mofo. You're bleeding out. Clean up your mess, okay? So when people do that to you, if you do that to other people, that needs to be addressed. And you have to be very honest with yourself. If you can't take a moment and really just like, do I do that? If you're very quick to be like, no, I don't do that. You probably do that. Let me just be very honest with you. Let me love you enough to call you out on your bullshit. If you're very, very quick to be like, I don't do that, that's fucked up, you probably do that. If you couldn't even take the time to pause and be like, do I do that to anyone? You probably do that. You know what I'm saying? Boop you on your nose, you're in denial. And that's love. Love is being able to appreciate the softness of the petals as they are juxtaposed with the thorns, okay? Love is recognizing you don't cut something down and put it in a vase for you to enjoy while it withers. Love is about letting people be who they are and just observing the beauty. Observe their growth. And even if you have these ugly traits, you're still beautiful to me. You still have something ridiculously profound within you to share with other people. Just because you have these little quirks, they're nothing more than quirks, really. They're ways to cope with whatever it is you've experienced in your life. It's not that you're just, a shitty person. I don't believe there really exist people who are just shitty people. There's shitty behaviors that are a result of, various forms of coping. But are people intrinsically shitty? I don't think so. Are people intrinsically bad? I don't think so. I think the longer you have no one to help you see the goodness that is inherently inside you, The more you believe this lie that you're a bad person, that you're a loser, that you have nothing to contribute. And I'm sorry, but if you treat someone like an animal, who are you to expect them to not behave like one? I had to tell one of my folks this long time ago. It's like, girl, you keep talking about your man is a dog, your man is a dog, he's a dog, he's a dog, you treat him like he's a dog, and then you get mad that he acts like a dog. Well, that's silly. That's silly. If you're going to treat me and accuse me of cheating on you, I'll probably just go ahead and do it. You're already accusing me. You're already accusing me. You're already accusing me. Might as well. Might as well. Who am I to prove you wrong? Let me just go ahead and prove you right. And sometimes people have that mentality. They have such a mess within themselves. And when you continue to put on them that they're this type of person, there's a part of them that feels obligated to live up to that hype. Most people will not behave around me. They won't behave the same way they behave around other people. Because you know what? For me, I see you as a sovereign that you are. You're not going to act a fool with me. Why? Because I see the potentiality within you, and you are going to bring that out when you're with me. Because I refuse to accept anything less than that. You can go ahead and act a fool with other people, but I see you as a sovereign that you are. I see you as a royal made into flesh, and you will conduct yourself as such. That is my expectation of you. People will only live up to your expectation of them. They will only live up to your expectation. And you have to make sure that expectation is a realistic one. If you are incapable of behaving in that way, who the hell are you to expect someone else to behave in that way? Let that sink in. I conduct myself in a certain way, and I expect you to not go lower than how I conduct myself. Do I expect perfection from you? Not in the way society defines it. I expect you to recognize I see you as perfect already. You don't have to put up any kind of front, any kind of show. I expect you to just be who you are. I respect you as you are. I value you as you are, and you will not play this game with me. You will not play a role. You will be exactly who you are when you are with me. And maybe if we shift things, to this type of mentality, not that my mentality is superior, but if we shift things degree by degree, people will shift right along with us. People will begin to be more willing to clean up their own messes. Instead of pointing, damn, man, you're living in a mess. Shift it. You know, do you need some help? Because I feel like you deserve to live in a more peaceful environment than this. Minor shift, profound difference. It's a minor shift, but it's a profound difference. Instead of like, oh, this is messy, you're messy. Hey, what's going on? You deserve more than this. How can I help you to recognize your worth? You deserve more. You don't need to settle. You don't need to just accept things the way they are. What is it that you want? Notice how one further perpetuates the beating down of an individual while the other helps to raise them up. It doesn't just lift them onto a pedestal. It helps them to recognize you have your own feet, you have your own legs, you have your own arms and hands. Make yourself a pedestal and climb up onto it. Not because you're above everyone else, but because you deserve to see with more clarity. Ooh, let that sink in. Let that sink in. So, patience. Card number 36, patience. You have to have patience with yourself. You have to have patience with your own process. Okay? You just have to be patient. And this is a very difficult thing to do for most people. Most of us exist in a state where it's now, immediate gratification, immediate results, and we don't want to take the time to invest in ourselves. Listen to that. You are investing in yourself. Investing. Okay. I had someone asking me, because I am having that soul-based business workshop. I had someone asking me, well, can you have it in such a way where I don't have to travel? Can you have it on a weekend instead? Was you not there when I explained? It's on a weekday, because I want you to see and feel and actually experience how it feels to invest in yourself. That instead of being at a 9-to-5 job where you are bringing in abundance for someone else, another entity, this is you committing to yourself, investing in yourself. We all need to take time and really think about how much are we investing in ourselves. Many of the empaths have no problem investing in other people. But when was the last time you invested in yourself? Do you even remember? And sometimes investing in yourself is as simple as taking 20 minutes to soak in the bathtub, taking 30 minutes to read a chapter from your favorite book, not answering your phone for an hour. I mean, these are not huge things. They're small things that accumulate over time. And when you take all these small things and you do it daily, one thing at a time, one day at a time, you begin to undo the programming that you don't matter, that it's everyone else, that you have to martyr yourself. Martyrdom is not love. It's not love. Okay? We have to undo that belief. That martyrdom, forcing yourself to exist in a state of poverty, is somehow spiritually superior. That's the dumbest shit that I have ever heard and participated in. That was the dumbest shit I have ever heard and participated in. Ever. Because I really took that in. I really took it to heart that if you charge for services because they're of a spiritual nature, if you provide services that empower and you charge for that, oh, then you are money hungry, you are bad, you are greedy, you are selfish. No, you're not. You're not. That's part of the energetic mess that we need to clean up. Okay? You have to give yourself permission to receive your abundance. Abundance that's rightfully yours, allocated just for you. You're not taking from someone else. You're not. You are not taking from someone else by allowing yourself to receive. Okay? So you have to stretch your consciousness. Things that make you uncomfortable take you to the edges of your boundaries and stretch you out. We have become a people who anything that's uncomfortable is like, no, but that's not comfortable. Oh my God, am I making you uncomfortable? Should I not have said that? Like, get the F out of here. Get the F out of here with that. This whole, you can't word things in that way because people might get offended. Well, you know what? You're an adult. You are an adult. It's time for us to stop expecting other people to tiptoe around our own discomfort. Okay? It's time. Sometimes it's that discomfort. Well, no, most of the time, it's that discomfort that leads to your growth. If you are going to make the analogy of spiritual development, spiritual growth is just like working out. Okay, you're working out, you're lifting weights. Oh, you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Stop working out. Oh my God, you're uncomfortable. Don't do that. Don't make yourself uncomfortable. Are you still going to expect yourself to grow? Are you going to grow? No, because it's the resistance that creates the discomfort, right? Because that discomfort is an indicator that you're going beyond what your muscles are normally able to handle. Are you breaking anything? No. Are you increasing the potentiality of your growth? Absolutely. Absolutely. And many of us, we dislike being put in a place of discomfort because there's always that potentiality of failure. Well, if we're going to continue with that analogy of spirituality and fitness, I've found that when you work a muscle to the point of failure, okay, not just, oh, it burns. Oh no, full on failure where you cannot lift that weight with proper mechanics anymore. You have just intensified your growing capacity. It's in that failure that you are tapping into levels of repair and growth that you normally wouldn't be able to. You normally would not be able to. We're so afraid of hurting. We're so afraid of being uncomfortable. We're so afraid of failure. All of these things are components for elevated growth. Elevated growth. And people are like, well, I don't get it. Well, okay, let me break it down physiologically. When you push your muscle to the point of failure, okay, I'm gonna carry away, I'm gonna keep doing this. It's focusing on one muscle, okay? For the most part, it's focusing on this muscle. And as I continue to do that and the muscle fatigues, there are micro tears that form in that tissue, okay? The micro tears, and that's the burning that you're feeling. Those are micro tears. And you're gonna keep going until, whoa, push it one more time. One more time. Okay, I can't at all anymore. All right, put the weight down. You're gonna hurt like hell. The next day, you're gonna hurt like hell. But guess what? As soon as you're done with that workout, you take in the nourishment that you need. Where is that card? You take in the nourishment that you need. You pop some BCAAs. Do whatever it is. Drink your drinks. Take some collagen pill. Whatever it is you do. Pop them, okay? You now have the building blocks. It will fill in the tears as a part of the repair process. And now something that was like this, because it tore open and now it's been filled with nourishment, look how much bigger it is now. Okay? Logic. Allow yourself to be stretched. Allow yourself to be destroyed. Embrace that shit. That's a part of your ascension. It's time for us to clean up this mess that's being perpetuated. That ascension is this beautiful, peaceful Zen thing. It's where you go into some beautiful Asian-inspired garden with like concrete Buddhas with moss and a waterfall and, you know, sipping your mimosas. That's ascension. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's not ascension. The truth of ascension will have you in a fetal position, hugging yourself in the corner, crying for hours at a time. Ascension, the truth of it, will have you feeling like an outcast and isolated, unheard, unseen. That's ascension. It's the deprogramming. It's the removing of yourself from this matrix of control, suppression, separation, competition, comparison, all of that. If you really, really want to understand the process of ascension, look into the work by Dabrowski, his theories on overexcitabilities. His theories, what is his main work called? Hold on. I keep forgetting what his main thing is. Dabrowski. Positive disintegration. Positive disintegration. Let me read to you. The theory of positive disintegration by Dabrowski is a theory of personality development. Unlike mainstream psychology, Dabrowski's theoretical framework views psychological tension and anxiety as necessary for growth. Boom, truth. Do you guys hear about Dabrowski in school? No, because he speaks truth. His work is about the nitty-gritty of human growth. Okay. Instead, we focus on all this bullshit, other theories. Ooh, Freud. Okay. What the fuck are you even talking about, Freud? You're talking about, you're externalizing these internal issues that you have kept within yourself. That whole Oedipus complex and all. I'm pretty sure you had those issues. I'm pretty sure it was you and you tried to say it was someone else because you were just too ashamed to admit that it was you. I'm just saying. TPD, which is the theory of positive disintegration, is not a theory of stages and levels and do not correlate with age. Ascension is not about stages and levels and does not correlate with age. Ascension can happen at any time for any length of time, dependent on the individual. Everyone is unique. So whatever length of time and age this process needs to start is what's going to happen for the individual. That's why you can't compare. You cannot compare yourself to other people. That's a part of the energetic mess that we're trying to clean up. You have to instead trust yourself. Trust your process. Know that everything in creation is conspiring to help you succeed. Even the people who are attempting to detract, distract, and destroy, they are facilitating your growth. Let me tell you guys this, okay? Every single person who has attempted to destroy me has done nothing but facilitate the destruction of aspects of me that are not in alignment with my truth and my true power. Boom. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Every single person who tried to destroy me for the entirety of my life has done nothing but facilitate the destruction of the aspects of me that are not in alignment with my truth and the truth of my power. You did something to hurt me. You broke me. No, you cut the dead weight. That was an aspect of myself that I was trying to hold on to with bloody fingernails, and I couldn't let it go out of fear of what would happen if I allowed myself to fly. Thank you for severing that. Thank you for severing that. It was painful. It was scary. It made me think I was broken. And then I realized I needed to stop my own bullshit because I'm already flying. Let that sink in. Okay? Let that sink in. You have to detox yourself. Detox, cleanse, and restore yourself. It's your perception of what other people are doing that is really making it difficult for you to move forward from that. Okay? It's your perception. Now, if you're going to continue to think, so-and-so took from me, no, they can't take your birthright from you. They can't. They can't. It's programmed specifically for your auric field. It doesn't function for anyone else. You can gift some of it to other people, but for someone to take it from you, no. You're rejecting it. You're rejecting it. And you're using that other person who did something ugly to you. Because, I mean, yeah, they did something ugly to you. You're using that as an excuse to continue justifying why you've chosen to reject your own greatness, why you've chosen to reject your own abundance. Is someone taking things from you? No. Are you refusing to allow yourself to receive? Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to open your eyes to this. You really do. You have to allow yourself to become the enlightened being that you already are. This is not something you have to attain, okay? I know this goes against every spiritual thing you've probably ever read, every theory, every lecture, every book. What? We don't have to work to become enlightened? No. The work in this life is not about becoming enlightened. The work in this life, the spiritual journey, is about undoing the program that caused you to believe the lies that you aren't. It's about undoing that program. That's what this life is about. That's what this journey is about. The undoing of the programming. If you want to continue participating in that program, that's up to you. You can do that if you want. You can absolutely do that if you want, but you can't blame other people. You can't say that your failure was caused by someone else. And this system is not broken. Failure is a necessary component of the system. It's set up so that all the participants will experience a sense of failure. Now, is it failure as in muscle fatigue failure, muscle failure that I was talking about earlier? No, it's a perception of failure. So you're actually not even growing the muscle. All you're doing is experiencing the simulation of the failure, the point of failure. They keep you hovering just above the failure. I don't know if you guys recognize that. They won't allow you to rise, but they won't actually allow you to fall so you can have a solid ground from which to rise up. So they keep you hovering above the ground. It's like when someone has you in a kiddie pool and they're holding you by your chest and your feet aren't touching the bottom of the pool. So you think, oh my God, am I going to drown? I can't swim. And then come to find out, all you had to do was stand up. and then they've lost their advantage over you. Well, that's the state that humans are perpetually being kept in. It's that state. It's time for, oh no, that's too many. That's too many. That is far too many. Yep, we're moving forward from this. We are moving forward from this. We're changing our attitudes, how we're seeing things. We're no longer needing to be in a state where we have to mirror other people's ugly, all right? But this is something you have to choose. This is something you have to choose, because if you think this is something that you're just going to magically one day not be salty, you're just going to magically one day, you know, have a good attitude. If you've had an ugly attitude for years, that's not going to happen. I'm going to be very honest with you. It's not going to happen. You're not going to magically wake up one day with a different perspective unless you choose to see things differently. Okay? It's not going to happen. Don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself. You're going to keep being who you are until you choose to be someone else. And hopefully what you choose to be is more of who you actually are, not the you that people have told you you're supposed to be. Ignorance, short-sightedness, selfishness, acceptance of superficial knowledge, the high priestess in reverse. This is kind of where we're at right now, you know? We're kind of at a point where, because we watch live streams, because we read books, because of the wonderful lies he tells, we think we know everything. We don't. We actually know very little. We know very little. And that's okay. You don't need to know everything or master anything in this life. You simply need to be. That's all you need to do, is be. Be yourself. Not try. Just be. And so that's where we're at. Son of Staves. Anxiety, embarrassment, hesitancy, causing losses, perplexity. This is an unbalanced ego. Many of us have unbalanced egos, okay? When the ego is not balanced, that's where you run into struggles with that ego. Ego is not evil. Ego doesn't need to be destroyed. Ego is not the root of your suffering. Your perception, your lack of willingness to recognize internal circumstance that's causing an external experience is the cause of your suffering. And the ego is trying to bring your attention to it, just like fear tries to bring your attention to things. Ego and fear are not the enemy. We have to move forward from this. Hold on. Adversity, possibly already overcome. Success, escape. My child is still asleep talking. So allow yourself to move forward from where you're at right now, okay? You don't have to be stuck where you're at mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially. Stop being so afraid. Recognize that fear is trying to bring your attention to a need to be out of that circumstance, okay? So, King of Swords in reverse, a person who may pursue a matter to ruin, conflict, selfishness, sadism, a dangerous or wicked person, one who causes unnecessary disturbance and sadness. And for those who are trying to figure out who this is, I ask you to please consider this might be you. This might be you doing this to yourself. Okay? Be honest with yourself. Oftentimes, we're the most sadistic person that we know. Be honest with yourself. But you just don't show that to other people. When it comes to you dealing with you, yeah, you're probably the most sadistic person that you know. We oftentimes are so ridiculously harsh with ourselves, treat ourselves in such a way that we would never treat anyone else. And that's the truth of it. That's the truth of it. You know, like people try and say mean things to me and I kind of just giggle to myself. It's like, have you heard the shit that I say to myself already? You can't hurt my feelings, bro. You can't hurt my feelings. You're just gonna have to level that up quite a bit in order to get to my baseline. Like you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I'm sorry. Don't waste your time. All right. So let's see. Seven of Swords in reverse, arguments, uncertain counsel or advice, circumspection, slander. So how are you going to handle this? When you begin to free yourself from the box that everyone else is still in, within your environment, within your circle, they will fight you. That's just a fact. They will ridicule you. They will shame you. They will do all kind of shit to try and get you to go back to who you were. The you that's very easy for them to manage, easy for them to figure out what you're going to do. It's so predictable. You can be predicted. If you're done being that person, be done being that person. Just know it's going to have some resistance, okay? But going back to that whole working out thing, it's the resistance that actually elevates your ability to grow. So when people resist your growth, when they don't want to accept you and your growth, the way you're changing, well, tell them thank you. Thank you for what you're adding to my journey. Thank you for elevating the potentiality of my growth. All right. Unsatisfactory love, false friendship, troubled relationship, separation, misunderstanding. It goes hand in hand with this card. They go hand in hand, you know? They go hand in hand. These are things you're being told as you clean your environment, as you clean up the energetic mess. Your mess, not someone else's. I want to make that very, very clear for the people who are going to walk away from this thinking, oh, I knew so-and-so was a mess. I'm going to help them clean it up. No, you're the mess. I'm still a little bit salty. You don't need to forgive me. I'm just salty. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm talking about your mess. No one else's. No one else's mess, just your mess. People will fight that, okay? It will make them very uncomfortable to witness your change, to witness you not only removing the shackles, not only unlocking the door to your cage, but opening the door and taking a step out. They're going to fight you on that, okay? It might be in a subtle way. It might be in a more profound, in your face type of way, but just expect it. And it's okay. You have to be okay with it. They can have whatever opinion they want, whatever opinion they choose to have about you and your process. But the fact is, it's yours. And no one else gets to dictate to you how that process is supposed to go. So let's see. Four of Coins. Love of material wealth, hoarder, user, inability to share. This is an aspect of us that we're leaving behind. We all have varying degrees of this, all of us, myself included. Every single last one of us have varying degrees of this greedy ass little person. With your, oh, look at his face. Oh my God, look at his face. Look at his face. Oh, you greedy ass little motherfucker. Look at you. Look at you. You got some contour. You look like a Negro. Look at that. Oh, how you're so cute. I'm just saying, look at his face. Where are they headed off to? Who gives a shit? Let them do that on their own. I'm serious. Let them do that on their own. Who gives a shit where they're headed off to? Let us get your final guidance. For someone with long ass alien fingers, this is very difficult for me. This deck is huge because the aliens had a lot to say, is what it is. All right. Good enough for me. Good enough for me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 One more, just for good measure. Whew, okay. Oh, 3 more. Yeah, all of those are applicable. So as you find your courage, you're going to see some desperation from individuals, okay? These are the people who have elevated levels of narcissism within your circle. Are they evil? No. Are they afraid that you are moving beyond where they can follow you to? Probably. Is that your problem? Nope. You keep developing your courage and you keep moving forward. If they want to continue to be a part of your journey, they need to do their part for their growth so they can keep up. Okay? You need to find balance as you push the envelope. This is not about pushing yourself so far that you make yourself topple over. All right? This is about finding your groove, finding the speed and the path that you need to, the path and the speed from which you need to travel that journey. This is something that your higher self is going to guide you to. But you need to ensure you have balance. The best, most efficient way to have balance within your life is to be centered in your truth, not someone else's. I don't care how good whatever it is they're saying sounds. If it's not your truth, it's not yours. You will not be centered. You have to be centered in your truth, in your existence. Because if you are centered, naturally, you will have balance. Okay? You will have balance. If you find your center point and stay there, consciously choose to stay in your center point, you will have naturally achieved balance. No trying, no expending energy to try and keep balance. You will just be balanced. And you have to continue pushing the envelope, but not in a way that will perpetuate imbalance. When you're pushing the envelope as a way of competition to prove that you're developing faster, that you're somehow superior because you've developed more, good luck with that. Good luck with that. You need to fall. You need to fall because you're creating instability. You're building a platform on an unstable foundation. It needs to fall. It's not structurally sound. It needs to fall. That's just how it is. So if you want to build your development on that type of thing where you're competing, you're going to fall, and you need to, because I'm always going to be real with you. You need to fall because that's bullshit what you're building. Now, if you want to build something that's going to last a long time, the entirety of your life, you have to do it at a rate that your higher self says. No one else is going to dictate this. It's your higher self. But if you want to be fast, to be able to prove things, you're going to fall, and it needs to fall, and you need to be okay with me telling you the truth. If it upsets you, it upsets you. And you probably need to go watch someone else that will just talk about how he's coming back, he's thinking of you, and yeah. That's not what I do here. What I do here is help you see how you're making things harder for yourself, make you see how you can empower yourself, make you see that it's not about other people but you. You and your journey is what you should focus on. So common ground. All of us exist on common ground. Okay? It's just a matter of how you choose to lay your own foundation. We're all on the same earth plane. All of us. And if we want to sit here and be like, well, I'm better because, you know, I'm in this tax bracket, I drive that kind of car, I have this kind of house, you know, that's nice and all, but it's like that when I used to do photography. The GWC guy with camera. So there were people who, you know, they'd spend their money for like the really fancy equipment, but they were really just a GWC, a guy with a camera. They had no real photography skill, no artistic vision, and they would contact these unassuming females and get them to come over to take compromising pictures under the guise of I'm a photographer. No, bro, you're a GWC. Your work still sucks. It sucks. And I don't care how much Photoshop you do. It's a turd. You can polish a turd, but it's still a turd. And that's kind of what this is. People who have that mentality of I have more than other people, so I'm somehow elevated. You're just a polished turd. Blind enthusiasm is what they have. Blind enthusiasm to show, do whatever it is to show that they're somehow superior. Okay, well, you go ahead and you be the shiniest polished turd in the box. All right, I'm just gonna be over here, an organic piece of caca, doing my part to help grow the orchard. But you go ahead, you go bronze yourself, put yourself on a little plaque, put yourself on a shelf, and be a polished turd, not actually serving your purpose. Because if I'm going to be a turd, if I'm going to recognize that I'm a turd, I'm going to live to my potentiality, meaning I'm going to allow myself to be broken down and serve as nourishment for the orchard that's going to serve as nourishment for all the others that come behind me. See how that works? We can both be turds, but I'm going to fulfill my purpose. Whatever that purpose is, I don't need to be bronze. I don't need to be put on a plaque and put on some high shelf for others to recognize what a shiny turd I am. Okay, and number 89, open contact. Allow yourself to reestablish connection with your higher self. So many people are so focused on connecting with celestial beings, connecting with galactic beings, guardians, and guides. When was the last time you spoke to your higher self? Why are you so focused on speaking with other beings if you can't even speak to your higher self? Don't you think connection with the higher self is a priority? Priority over connecting with alleged archangels and ascended masters? I mean, how do you know what they actually are? Do you know what you're actually communing with? Do you? Or is your perception of what you're communing with based on what you've read, someone else's perception? And how did they come to that conclusion? Because the being told them? Are they being honest when they tell these people what they are? These are just good questions to ask, you know? Michael's been with me my whole life, but to this day, I'm like, well, what are you? Are you really a demon? Just really show yourself. Come on. I know you for so long already. Just, who are you really? It pisses him off. I don't care. I'm going to keep asking. You keep talking to me, I'm going to keep asking who you are, what you want. Card number 71, homing beacon. As you begin to activate your coding through rediscovery of your truth, your personal truth, through self-actualization, self-realization, self-love, self-acceptance, self-respect, compassion for self. Notice how all of this has to do with self. You then become a homing beacon. The light that emanates from you as you simply exist will activate other people as they witness you in your authenticity. I'm not talking about manufactured authenticity. Okay, that's now a developing issue, manufactured authenticity. Card number 20, power of sound. It's time for you to begin speaking up and speaking out. Stop being afraid of how other people will receive your words, will receive your expression of your truth. Not everyone has to accept you. Not everyone has to understand. You don't have to be everything to other people, but you have to let the power of sound envelop you. If someone is doing ugly things to you, you have to speak up. Does that mean you have to cuss people out? Not unless you want to. But you do have to speak up. There's nothing spiritual about being quiet in the face of tyranny. There's nothing spiritual about it. Nothing at all. Okay? It's cowardly. It's absolutely cowardly. And many of us have no problems being the voice for other people, speaking up when we see other people being wronged. Yet when it comes to us, we go mute, we go silent. That's cowardly. You deserve the same kind of advocacy that you give to other people. You deserve it just as much as everyone else. You are worth that fight. You are worth the effort that it takes to clean up the energetic mess that surrounds you. You are worth the fight when it comes to establishing and reinforcing the boundaries. You are worth it. And this is not something someone else has to do for you. This is something you need to begin consciously choosing for yourself. Now, these cards annoy me. They just annoy me. Hive mind and community. What's the difference? What's the difference? What is the difference between a hive mind and community? Do we know? This is blunt truth. This is PC, love and light, high vibe bullshit. What's the difference? Nothing. Nothing. Community, as we define it right now, is nothing more than a hive mind. There is no difference. A turd is still a turd, no matter how polished. Remember? A turd is still a turd, no matter how polished. Hive mind and community. Recognize they're one and the same. Controlled opposition, where people don't realize they're helping to lull each other into complacency. If enough of us believe this to be true, it must be true. No, it's not. Notice how I don't work with anyone. Notice how I pretty much am just on my own. Do you have to be that way? No. But for damn sure, I'm not going to participate in a community that practices hive mind. I used to be part of a spiritual community on Facebook. And to those that tried to enforce a hive mind on me, fuck you. I'm not going to do what you want. If it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate, and I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not participating. I'm not supporting you. I'm not going to just sit here and shut up just to allow you to continue to perpetuate the illusion. Nope. Nope. So we go back to this conversation we were having earlier about how everyone who's ever tried to destroy you has done nothing but release the parts of you that are not in alignment with your truth. Okay? Spiritual community tried to destroy me. Thank all of you for helping me to release that, because it was at that moment that I recognized I was still participating in that religious programming, but I went from organized religion to spirituality because I thought it was freedom, and it wasn't. It's the next form of religion. So when you tried to destroy me because I would not comply with this hive mind bullshit just because it was labeled community. Thank you for cutting away the bullshit that I did not recognize I was still carrying. There you go. Every time someone tries to destroy you, they are doing nothing more than helping to accelerate your growth. Be fluid. Card number 5, change, fluidity. Be fluid. Be as fluid as you possibly could be. There's nothing really that can stop fluids. Look at water. Water doesn't necessarily have to use tremendous amounts of force. It can be a gas, a solid, a liquid. Just by simply being fluid and flowing, it was powerful enough to carve the Grand Canyon. So when they say be like water, be like water. I mean, if you look, water surrounds you as you are gestating. 45% at 9:44. Water surrounds you while you are in your mother's womb. It can be that gentle. It can help to sustain life. But water can also drown you. Water is a totality, just like love. It has the ability to destroy as easily and potently as it does to rebuild, to empower, to raise up. So be fluid. Be fluid. Stop trying to confine yourself in these roles that people say you have to play. It's time to really clean the mess, the energetic mess that's been created for all of us. This mess that we have all done our part to continue to perpetuate. All of us have participated in this. It's not someone else that made the mess. All of us made this freaking mess, and all of us have to clean it up. And that's just that. All of us have to clean it up. I think my baby's finally awake. Baby, are you awake? I've been anxiously waiting for him to wake up. Oh my God. Let me see. Oh, Lauren, not allowed to be negative or have bad vibes. They only believe in love and light, which is denying parts of themselves. Absolutely. 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 Yeah. Be careful of the people whose platform is based on what's the coolest thing right now. Be careful of those people. My platform, my beliefs will only change as I mature, as my perception is shifted degree by degree. My stance will change, not because of something I've read, not because of what's cool right now, not because of what will gain me more following, more clout, more fame. No, it shifts as I mature mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's the only thing that will shift me. And I will always be open to hearing and receiving tidbits from other people. I don't care how new you are to this spiritual thing. You have components of my learning. Each one of you carries a component of things I still need to learn in this life. And so I will never see myself as above any of you, as more advanced. Nope, we're all shoulder to shoulder in this, walking down the street, driving down the street in my 6'4". I gotta go. I gotta bake some pancakes and just be mommy today. It's a beautiful day. It's all snowing. I'll show you guys. Well, you can see all the white, the lit. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful. I just want you to know you're my favorite snow. Oh, 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 oh. I'm really gonna. He's gonna be so mad if you wake him up singing. He's gonna be so mad. Bye, guys. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel. Turn on that notification bell. I probably won't be going live for the rest of the day, but I should be going live probably tomorrow morning. Also, I do private readings. If you would like to book a private session of any kind, excuse me, please go to my website, emmieevolving.com. If you are one of the, I'm trying to catch up on all my emails. If you're one of the people who had questions about my soul-based business workshop, you can find it on my website. I think I only have a couple beds left, a couple openings left. Check that out. What else? I don't know what else. There was something else that I was supposed to talk about. Oh, I do still have a coupon active on my website, 33% off site-wide. If it can process on the website, you automatically get that 33% off. I think it ends tomorrow. I don't even know. It ends at some point. So if you wanted to purchase a session, you should do it before the coupon ends. All right, guys. Bye.